Well, we want to certainly update everyone on the weather conditions as well as the measures that we're taking to deal with this storm. We had earlier this afternoon that the snow would be tapering off about 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Based on those predictions and that weather forecast, we decided to lift the ban and end it earlier. Unfortunately, that cannot be the case. We are going to extend the parking ban until tomorrow, 9 a.m. We need to have access to our streets to be able to clear them. The superintendent of schools, I've spoken with her, and all Hartford public schools will be closed tomorrow. For folks who are using the school parking lots, in order to comply with the parking ban, you can start removing your cars after 9 a.m. tomorrow morning. This way you don't have to get your cars out tonight. We need the streets to be cleared, so you can leave those and remove those tomorrow morning. City Hall will be delayed for an hour, opening at 10 a.m. and garbage collection for those folks who were supposed to have garbage collected today. Your garbage is on a one-day delay, which means that there will be garbage pickup tomorrow for the folks who were supposed to have their garbage removed today, Monday. So again, the parking ban stays in effect until tomorrow, 9 a.m. in the morning. Unfortunately, after the storm was supposed to have ceased, we got an additional 4+ inches of snow. That, in addition to the fact that we cannot, it's very difficult to plow during the rush hour. As you can see, many of the state highways that go through Hartford are very congested at this point, as are many of our streets. We're gonna need more time. We're asking for the public's cooperation. Please stay off the roads. Keep your vehicles off the roads. We don't need people in the roads as we're trying to plow the snow that is out there. In fact, the weather, the snowfall in the afternoon was even heavier than what we had this morning. So it's a very complicated storm that moves very quickly with unpredictable amounts of snow that are falling in the area. I do want to thank DPW crews. They've been working very hard to clear the snow. We do have shelters available. There's still vacancies out of shelters if anyone should need a shelter. Another complicating factor for tomorrow and the closure of schools is that we expect to have very frigid temperatures tomorrow with a forecast of below 0 with the wind chill, anywhere between 4 to, I believe, 10 degrees or more below 0, and that's another consideration. We also want to make sure that we have enough time to clear our sidewalks because those are important for our children to be on rather than be in the streets. And with the very high banks of snow as a result of this storm as well as the previous storm, we want our kids to be safe. Any questions at this point?
These two storms back to back with this situation, what has been the different challenges this time around compared to what you had to deal with the blizzard?
Well, with the blizzard, high winds and snow drifts and a concern for the whole entire state, including high winds for the shoreline and even high winds for the interior, made all of us take uniform action, which means that the state took actions to basically shut down the state. That in turn helped us. That's not the case with this storm. With this storm, you're seeing very different accumulations throughout the state, and perhaps in particular areas that have been more impacted than in others. So back to your question, there was a very cohesive statewide action that we benefited from. With the state offices open today, as many of the businesses, it doesn't help us in terms of making sure that the streets get clean as promptly. The other thing is the changes in the forecast. We depend on the weather forecasters to tell us what conditions will be so that we can respond, and we plan around that. If that changes, we also have to change our plans to suit the changing weather conditions.
And the cohesive state action you referred to last week?
Last week, yes.
And how are you removing the snow? I know a lot of cities, Connecticut, around New England, that's a big issue, is dumping, having it somewhere to put. Where did you put that snow from last time, and how are you? What are you doing this time?
I'll have Keith. We used to put in the river, but we have environmental concerns, so.
Yes, we have an area up in the North Meadows area that is ample for not only last week's snow, but this week's when we start removing it as well.
It's I guess last time around for the blizzard a couple days ago, there were significantly less parking tickets and tows that you saw, say, in the blizzard of 2013 or other big storms. What's that looking like at this time of the day right now?
I think we've had more than 500 cars towed. We've had over 600 tickets issued. Again, the level of compliance has been a lot less. People did not take this storm as seriously and did not take the parking ban announcement as seriously as they did earlier in the week. Again, the more compliance that we have, the less need to issue. I don't like people to get tickets. I don't like people to get towed. But then I also don't like my fire engines and my ambulances not being able to reach emergencies. And we're trying to protect people's lives here. So we have to decide, protecting the lives of people or someone who doesn't obey the parking ban being ticketed or towed. And we always choose to protect lives and making sure that people who are getting in the way of that potentially are ticketed and towed.
And I know you guys are getting a lot of calls in asking, where are my cars? What for people who did get their cars towed, where can they check that out? What can they do?
We had earlier today, because of the amount of cars that were towed, we had a barrage of calls to our call center, which became overwhelmed with trying to assist folks in letting them know where their cars was. Though that call volume has been reduced, and if they call 757-4000, they will be told where their car is being kept so that they can recuperate that. Again, if your car has been towed, we still are under a parking ban. Do not park the car back on the street because you might end up being towed again. And I don't want that to happen. I want people to understand that we're trying to get all of our streets clean so we can return to normal as soon as possible, and we really depend on the public's cooperation.
I think the total last week, or the last week we heard, was 15 accidents in the entire state for last week's storm. Do you know of any issues that have happened already today in this metro?
I believe that the last report I got was no major accidents, but we are in the commute now, and there is very sloppy conditions out there, both on the highways and on our roads. So I'm keeping my fingers crossed that folks would, if you don't need to be out in the roads, don't go out in the roads. If you're on the roads, please take precautions. We want people to be safe. The city of Hartford had indicated that we would reduce the parking ban and end it earlier today. That was based on predictions that we got, and so we have taken these steps that we've announced. For the benefit of our Spanish-speaking audience, la prohibición de estacionamiento de las calles de la ciudad va a continuar hasta mañana martes a las 9 de la mañana, o sea que se prohíbe estacionar en todas las vías públicas, calles y avenidas de la ciudad hasta mañana martes 9 de la mañana. Todas las escuelas públicas del sistema escolar de Hartford van a estar cerradas mañana. El municipio va a abrir un poco más tarde, a las 10 de la mañana, pero las escuelas van a permanecer cerradas. Si usted tiene su vehículo en uno de los lotes de una de nuestras escuelas, pueden removerlo mañana después de las 9 de la mañana. Ya para ese tiempo la prohibición de estacionamiento concluye y pueden sacar sus carros fuera de los lotes de las escuelas. Las personas que tienen lunes como su día de recolección de basura fueron canceladas hoy. Esas personas que tenían la fecha de lunes, la basura se les va a recoger mañana, martes, y todo el mundo va a estar atrasado un día por el resto de esta semana. Básicamente le pedimos a las personas que se permanezcan en sus casas, que no guíen, que mantengan sus vehículos fuera de las calles y por favor que no tiren nieve en las calles, porque esto solamente nos complica más la tarea de poder remover la nieve de las calles. Así que muchas gracias. Disculpen por cualquier persona que haya sido remolcado, pero nosotros tenemos que mantener las vías públicas libres, porque si tenemos una emergencia médica o un fuego, tenemos que llegar hasta donde esas personas, y no lo podemos hacer si las calles están intransitables, porque no hemos podido limpiar las calles porque hay carros estacionados en las calles. Así que espero que las personas observen la prohibición de estacionar en las calles públicas para que así podamos llegar a una normalidad lo más pronto posible. Gracias.